You're just a gay boy. I ain't trying to play boy. I ain't thinking about you.
Hello everyone, welcome back to The Boulevard. Today we are talking about Katseye, who if you keep up with pop music, and especially K-pop, you've probably heard of them. They are the new global girl group phenomenon. They debuted just last year with 6 members, Sophia, Manon, Daniela, Lara, Megan, and Yoonchae. It's hard to describe exactly what Katseye is to someone who doesn't keep up with them, because they're both K-pop and not K-pop at the same time. They're a global girl group with members from all over the world with varying ethnicities who make English pop music and follow the typical Western formula for like branding and marketing, but they follow the K-pop formula when it comes to choreography and performance. They are backed both by South Korea's HYBE Entertainment, which is behind some of the biggest K-pop groups like BTS, TXT, and LE SSERAFIM, alongside Geffen Entertainment, which is behind some of the biggest Western artists like Guns N' Roses, Olivia Rodrigo, Camila Cabello, and more. So they kind of get the best of both worlds. And because of that, they have been taking off recently. They're debuting on the Billboard charts. Their recent single, Gnarly, landed on the Billboard Hot 100. They're performing at Lollapalooza in August. They've done challenges and collabs with a bunch of other artists. Like, they are making a name for themselves. And honestly, I'm here for it. I kind of fall in love with these girls more and more every day, and part of that might be the fact that they are marketing down and are not only really good at what they do, but absolutely hilarious.
And as we all know, Thanksgiving is right around the corner.
Yes! It's so cool that Danny, I love you so much. What the hell? Like, literally, why?
Now, they're not the first ones to do the whole global girl group thing. Other groups like JYP Entertainment's Vicha and DR Music's Black Swan are similarly multinational K-pop groups. But I feel like Katseye has taken this concept so far, much further than anyone else, and executed it so well to the point of really breaking through both industries in a unique and interesting way. I'm surprised when people say they haven't heard of them. Like, I genuinely cannot escape their content online. They only have like 11 songs, and yet there is so much you can unpack with them, both the good and the bad. So that's what we're doing today. Here are my honest thoughts on Katseye. And to really unpack this girl group, we need to start with how they were formed in the first place. Popstar Dream Academy is a Netflix documentary series documenting how the group was formed. Over 100,000 applications led to 20 to 30 chosen trainees who competed for these 6 spots in the girl group. Now, I've been keeping up with K-pop for a while, so I'm not foreign to the concept of survival shows, such as 16 that formed Twice, Girls Planet that formed Kepler, and so on. Survival shows are certainly not very healthy for their competitors and are quite exploitative. It's a huge problem within the K-pop. It's a huge problem within K-pop as a whole. Not going to get into that now, that's not the point of this video. But I figured Popstar Dream Academy would be a little more chill considering it's global. And if not, it would just be like a regular old survival show. Plus, considering this show was released after the girls already debuted, I figured it would be a nice retrospective on how the girls came to be together and thus a fun watch, you know? Instead, I ended up seeing one of the messiest shows I have ever watched. HYBE. Why did you release this? You are literally making your own company execs and your own girl group look bad. At one point, Bang, the literal CEO of HYBE and creator of BTS, says, "Yeah, I'd pick the girls myself if I could, but I guess that would be kind of unfair." Dude, what? I can totally understand if he thinks that. He is one of the biggest giants in K-pop, and I don't doubt that he has a good sense of who has star quality and who doesn't. But like, why would you put that in the show? Then there's this other girl, Mitra, who don't even get me f***ing started on her. At one point, she literally says, I guess having the girls secretly tell us who they'd want in their final girl group as a fun little game, and then openly broadcasting those results to everyone, and tallying up exactly how many votes each girl got for each other, and announcing the eliminations in the most cruel way possible through an AI-generated voice, and turning them all against each other, was probably a bit mean. But that episode got the most views, so I guess it worked. I'm not even exaggerating, that is quite literally what she says. You are a bad person. We all know reality TV and survival competitions are manipulated and twisted in their own ways behind the scenes, but openly admitting to creating a mentally torturous situation for the girls in order to get views is another level of crazy. But at the end of the day, I do know why they did this. The meaner they are, the more sympathy we feel for the girls, the more we want to support them. That's television, that's marketing. But then there's the whole Manon situation. For those who don't know, around when Katseye debuted, Manon was already getting hate for being the quote-unquote weak link of the group. She was constantly pushed to the back of the choreography, so she couldn't even get time to shine. Her dancing just overall wasn't as strong as her other members, not to mention the racial undertones of everything, considering she is one of the only black girls in K-pop. So you'd think if they're releasing a show about the girls, they should make them all look good to help boost their images. Nor are you fucking kidding me? Of course not. TLDW, Manon was skipping practice because she was sick and taking care of herself, rightfully so. But the other girls pushed through tiredness and sickness because they were quite explicitly told the harder they worked, the more likely they'd get into the final group, even if that meant working themselves to exhaustion. So then when public voting was introduced and Manon skyrocketed to the top of the rankings despite the other girls, yes, working harder, they were reasonably upset. And if you just think through the situation, it makes total sense. I laughed when Sophia side-eyed Manon at practice because yeah, I probably would too. This was an intense, severely traumatizing competition. Of course the girls didn't get along 100% of the time, but they reconciled. That's literally the focus of one of the episodes, and anyone can see that. But HYBE knows their audience. They knew this would create drama, incite online beef, and draw attention to them and the group. But who does all that stress and beef end up falling onto? That's right, the girls. Even Manon herself was scared after the documentary came out. That's how you know they fucked up.
I know that was like a big subject on the documentary, which I found very unfortunate, and I freaked out watching it, but...
And this was one of the main issues in the whole show, in my opinion. Anytime HYBE wanted to create drama or speed up the public announcement, yeah, it makes sense for their marketing and their image of the girls, but ultimately, all that stress and trauma ends up falling onto them. The teenage girls who don't know anything better other than hard work and dedication. The girls who are expected to be social media stars and able to get the public to like them and deal with hate comments without any training in those fields. The girls who did not even sign up for a survival show. Oh my god. So yeah, overall, this show is messy. Also, what was going on with some of the song choices here? I swear to god, they were playing the most dramatic music in the most unfitting parts. Like when Son yells at the girls for taking Anti-Fragile too cutesy, and then this dramatic-ass piano ballad plays, like bro, it's not that deep. And then, guess what song is used to close out the series, as the girls say their final goodbyes? Happier Than Ever. Why the f are you using a song about gaslighting, manipulation, and internet hate to back these heartwarming goodbyes? Honestly, everything was great about the finale, but I was entirely taken out of it by them using an amazing song in the entirely wrong context. Don't piss me off. Anyways... With all that said, I do still want to keep this video focused on Katseye and their trajectory as a girl group. So why am I bringing all this up? Well, besides just needing to rant for a hot minute, I do think this documentary really illuminates that Katseye has had a very clear purpose from their inception, to be the next #1 global girl group. They repeatedly emphasize throughout the show that they are trying to create a girl group with the same level of success as BTS. Y'all know BTS, right? Literally one of the biggest artists to ever exist. That kind of puts a whole new lens on what Katseye's doing, because you begin to realize everything they've done and everything they were put through in this show is with that end goal. And that just creates so much immense pressure, not just on the girls themselves, but everyone involved in crafting and supporting them. The only staff I felt bad for in this show are those that were doing the bidding of the HYBE conglomerate. I dare you to find a single solitary frame of this show where Missy looks happy. Do it, try. Miss Girl is stressed non-stop. And understandably so, she is literally in charge of nurturing these girls into being the next global superstars under HYBE's excruciatingly tight deadlines. I also think the whole concept of creating the next BTS is inherently kind of misguided, because what's drawn so many people to BTS is their self-made quality and that kind of rags to riches appeal. And I'm not sure Katseye really has that going for them right now, because a lot of what they do is very hand-picked and crafted by HYBE and Geffen. So I could keep going on, as you can tell. I have a lot of thoughts, but I think most other criticisms have already been voiced, and I'm like almost a year late at this point.
Mania, mania, mania.
But of course, we come back to the final 6 girls of the group. With all the above said, with all that out of the way, let's actually finally talk about Katseye and their music, starting with their...
They keep coming back. Oh, we ain't flexible.
Soft is Strong is really, really, really good. Every song here is an absolute banger, and each feels like it gets at a unique element of Katseye's sound and appeal, while still altogether being a very cohesive batch of music. Debut showcases power and choreography. Touch showcases cutesiness and facial expressions. My Way shows vocal and harmony. I'm Pretty shows sass and emotion, and Tonight I Might shows just pure girl crush anthemic fun. Literally the perfect debut EP in every way, in my opinion, and a brilliant start to their musical career. Let's go through it. Debut, the song, was our first introduction to Katseye as an actual girl group entirely removed from Popstar Academy. And I don't know if this is a popular opinion, but I honestly really, really like it. I think this still stands time as one of their best singles and one of the best girl group debuts out there. The sound of the song is admittedly a little bit high school coming of age movie core, so it can feel kind of outdated. You know, there's the band-esque production and the whistle sounds and like the rap talky verses, you know? But honestly, the song is just super catchy. I have a blast with it, and the choreography is of course addicting. Still one of my favorite choreographies they've done. That one drum beat going into the second chorus eats. It's my favorite part of the whole song.
Keep coming back. Oh.
I honestly really love the double chorus at the end. It's just so fun with the changed choreography too. Like, yes. My number one complaint is just, of course, how they did Manon dirty with the choreography.
Where there is a black girl in the middle being black, in the middle being black, in the center being black in the middle.
The thing is, Debut didn't quite take off, I think, as much as High was probably hoping. Touch is what really got them going, and it's the bop Katseye absolutely needed in this era. While I think I like Debut as a song slightly more than Touch, maybe not, I don't know, I'll figure it out when I do my ranking at the end. Touch is definitely the stronger single of this album. This song is both cutesy and also badass at the same time, tapping into that girl power talk rappy nature of Debut, but also just being a lot more modern and unique. The choreography slaps, no doubt. I was doing this shit non-stop when the song came out. Literally the only issue is that it just ends way too fast. I just did a video about how bridges are kind of starting to die out a little in pop music, which is doing extremely well. Thank you for all the support on that. And I did talk about how Katseye is kind of an example of that. They've apparently gotten criticized for their songs being too short, but honestly, within their whole discography, the only song that actually feels too short, in my opinion, is this one. There is no reason for this song to end after the second chorus. It's not even a double chorus or an outro or anything, like the song just stops. They had the perfect setup for a bridge into a final chorus with extra harmonies and production, and it would have been so good. If they did all that, instantly their best song, without a doubt. My Way, I do have to admit, felt a little bit generic to me at first, but it has quickly grown on me over time, and that's mainly due to the harmonies. The vocal layering on this song is just, chef's kiss. So magnificent, so beautiful, and they do actually give us a bridge into the final chorus. Yes, it's just a repetition of the pre-chorus, but hey, it's something. And with the added vocals, it just makes it feel very beautiful and full circle and gorgeous. I'm Pretty, like I mentioned, is sassy and emotional at the same time, while also incorporating a lot of beautiful vocal layering and texture throughout the song very similar to My Way. It's definitely an underrated gem in their discography, if I do say so myself. And even after all that, all those bangers, the end of the album gives us Tonight I Might, which is easily the highlight of this album and, in my opinion, their best song to date. It really doesn't get better than this. The emotion, the vocals, the layering, the cohesion of the group, and the absolute blast that is the final beat drop. I always have to get up and dance when I hear that. I will never ever get sick of this song. Overall, the best way I can define the sound from this debut EP is sentimental and dreamy. It's powerful and danceable and catchy, but underneath that all is a layer of emotion and heart that I think feels really unique, but also so earned for Katseye. As we just talked about, these girls went through hell just to be in this group, and I think the emotion and dreaminess of these tracks is so fitting to what they went through. I mean, they literally were on Dream Academy, but beyond on that, there's a lot of heart that really does come through in these songs that you can feel by listening to their voices. And I think it's just so incredibly fitting. I really cannot get enough of this EP.
Don't get comfortable, cause any minute now.
Icons don't come for me. Beautiful Chaos is good. but it's not as good as their debut EP. Again, considering how good their debut was, and just how much they've continued to evolve and grow since then, I had really high hopes for this second EP. And those high hopes may be contributing to my feelings around the EP because, as is, I think it's pretty decent. It certainly has its high moments, and overall, it's a cool evolution of their sound. But I just feel like they can do more. Let's talk about it. First up, we have Gnarly. Now, where do I even begin with this song? Did Gnarly go viral? Yeah. Was that probably the sole intention of the song? Yeah. Does that make me like the song, though? No. Now, it would be a lie if I didn't say I was pretty obsessed with this song when it first came out, as I think a lot of us were. Admittedly, that was the point of it. The choreography, the aesthetic, the terrible lyrics. I mean, every single element of this song and era was designed purely as a means of going viral. I think that's fairly obvious. I don't think there's any point in denying that. Literally every single girl got their own viral moment. Yoonchae's lifting her hair, Megan's booty bounce, Manon's bob, Daniela's lip lick, Sophia's bangs, Laura's making beats for a boring dumb bitch. I mean, this comeback was intentionally designed to be a moment in time. And as expected, I was obsessed with all those moments. I'm not going to deny that. Scrolling reel after reel, people recreating the twerking move in hilarious ways, the girls performing this song with their insane energy as they always deliver, and of course the absolutely batshit insane music video, Why Are We Not Talking About the Flies? Like, yeah, I was hooked, undeniably. But, with all that said, have I ever actively gone to Spotify to listen to this song, just as is, for fun? No, not a single time. And if we're being honest, have you? The song, in the context of all that other visual stuff, is incredible. The song alone is astonishingly bad. And honestly, I can get by with this chorus. The production is fun and groovy. The gnarly, that part is fairly addicting. It's the verses that absolutely tank this song. The lyrics aren't even funny bad like in Earth by Lil Dicky, okay? They're just bad. And they're not even rapping, they're just talking aggressively, which has not grown on me one bit either. This is such a baffling song for me because I don't know whether I love it or I hate it. But at the end of the day, I think it did its job. Because then we got Gabriella, which is in my opinion the highlight of this EP, and shines even brighter when put in comparison with Gnarly. I truly believe they made Gnarly purposefully bad and gimmicky so that when they released a real song, it would hit even harder, which it absolutely did. Gabriella captures the magic of Katseye so beautifully, from the dreamy melodies and vocals, to the addictive hook that bases the entire song, to the Latin influences culminating in a Spanish bridge, literally one of their only songs with a bridge, sung by Latina Mami Daniela herself.
Latina Mami!
God, this song is just so good. Topping that all off with a soap opera themed music video with acting bits and everything, the dresses, the catfighting, the choreography, it just all works so well. And the best part is that this music video is still so weird and random, as is on brand for Katseye and for the era that they set up with Gnarly. Megan gets punched in the nose, which escapes her face and bursts Kool-Aid looking blood into her hands. But then we cut to her smiling creepily with a bandaged nose as she dances while Daniela pulls up in a Waymo that she then marries before Laura chops off her ring finger with an axe. Y'all, this video is weird as hell, but it works so much better than Gnarly because all the weird stuff still makes sense in the context of the overall story, and most importantly, the song is actually good.
Wow.
I really, really hope that they do similarly inspired songs based on each of the members' cultures. I would absolutely eat up an Indian-inspired song that Laura gets to take center stage on. Game Boy is pretty solid. It has this really fun Carly Rae Jepsen vibe to it that's cutesy and girl crushy. The choreo they have for it is of course great, but when is their choreography not good? The verses kind of remind me of When I'm With You by Lisa and Tyla, but I do have two issues with this song. One, the song kind of feels like it drags just a little bit towards the end. And two, despite this being a vocal song, I don't really feel like their voices are actually getting to shine. They sound absolutely gorgeous, no doubt, but they also all kind of sound the same. I feel like their voices were more distinct on the debut EP, I don't know if that's just me, but I don't know. Also, Rosé did the song concept better, don't at me. That brings me to Mean Girls, which I think is becoming one of my favorites from them. It's definitely a grower, but I feel like the true Katseye really comes through here more than any other song on the album. It has elements of the same sentimental, dreamy vibe that I loved from the debut EP, while still being a little more groovy and upbeat, as is kind of the theme of this EP. Their voices do feel much more emotional and free on this song as well versus the others, which I think makes it stand out a bit more. Laura's pre-chorus is phenomenal. The rasp, hello? That's literally giving Lauren Jareggi, like, tell me you don't hear it.
I'm still wishing you the best. Should've never crossed that line with you. Everything was cool, just drinking with you.
Also, they didn't have to include the lyric at the end, but they did. And that in itself elevates the song and makes me love that it's there even more. And then there's MIA, which is fine. But I don't know, considering how strong of a note their last album ends on, this just doesn't really hit the same. It's growing on me, but I'm kind of getting sick of Jersey club beats and K-pop, like, it's just everywhere, and I really want K-pop producers to start switching it up. This song admittedly has a similar vibe to Gnarly, the same distorted production, the rapping, and the message is more like cool girl don't fuck with me kind of vibe, but it's better, certainly. And if they did a music video themed after this photo shoot with like the car crash and stuff for MIA, I would absolutely eat that shit up because this scenery and their visuals are amazing. But as just a B-side, I don't think it works as well. I think this one in particular really needs visuals and choreography to work, which they probably are preparing. And if they do come out with choreo, maybe I'll reconsider my feelings on the song. But for now, it's not one I see myself coming back to very much. Overall, I do like this album. It has grown on me a bit since first listen and probably will continue to do so, but generally, I like the songs more that fit the vibe of their debut EP and evolve that sound with more groove, like Mean Girls and Game Boy, along with Gabriella, which is honestly a pretty new sound for them, but they just absolutely killed it. I don't mind them taking on a more grungy, distorted sound like on Gnarly and MIA, but they need to execute it well. Gnarly was just a meme, and MIA needs visuals to work. And I really do love that they're trying new things. I'm not saying, oh, they did this one sound really well on the debut EP, they have to stick to that. But I don't know, I just felt like some of the new stuff they tried here worked really, really well, like Gabriella, and some of the other stuff just didn't cook enough. But again, that is all just my opinion. Take it for what you will. You don't have to agree. It's just how I feel. Now, before I go into my overall final thoughts on the group, of course, knowing me, I had to throw in a quick discography ranking. I've already talked about all their songs, but now you get to see where they all stack up against each other, along with any of their other songs that aren't in their EPs, which I think is literally just flame. I'll just put a brief little sentence about each song on the screen as it comes up, and we'll move right along.
Get comfortable, cause any minute now. Ooh, you're just a playboy. I ain't tryna playboy. I'm pretty sure I'm not done healing. And yes, God bless even the mean girls. But you've been so out of touch. That about you way too much. No, this ain't a debut. Love me once, I know you love me twice. Love me once, and now he turns to nice. At least I can say that I did it my way. But I'm begging you, hands off, Gabriella. Tonight I might do stupid shit, pretend these people, they are my friends.
That completes all my specific thoughts on all of Katseye's music. I haven't really touched a ton on performances and just like their general vibes and presence as a group because I don't think I have as much to say there. They are truly exceptional performers. I mean, they were literally chosen for this, and I don't think they've ever really disappointed on that frontier. Like, they're killing it out there. That Mama performance of Debut, oh mama, no one is doing it quite like that. Okay, that was really cringe, sorry. If you can't tell, I really love this group. All my criticism of them has come from a place of good intention and heart and knowledge that they can do incredible things. I think, of course, they have a lot of success ahead of them. It totally makes sense now as a group starting out that they're trying a lot of different things, seeing what does and doesn't stick with their audience. But I think the dreamy, sentimental, vocal-driven sound that's also kind of quirky and camp at the same time with their aesthetic, in my opinion, that's what works best for them, and I kind of want them to really push that to its fullest. I think Beautiful Chaos, despite it only being 5 songs, just feels kind of scattered and like it didn't really have any direction to it as much as their debut EP did, which again, I really want to emphasize, I don't mind them going new routes, adopting new sounds, but they need to do it well and not just for virality, but for actual artistry. And I want Katseye to have viral moments like that, the way they did with Gnarly, the way they pushed through into Western mainstream media. But I want it to be for actual good songs they feel are artistically driven. I think one of the best ways they can do that is by continuing to play into their diversity. The fact that they all come from different backgrounds and ethnicities with unique styles and personalities. It's so unique, it's not something you can really say about a lot of groups. I do think that's why Gabriella has had the most significance to me as like a single from them. It uniquely pushed their multicultural nature while still being very Katseye. And sure, it didn't have as much of a splash as a typical fun song like Touch or a meme like Gnarly, but I think if they keep doing stuff like that, they can go really far with it. I also really want to see the girls do a full-length album soon, since EPs are more common in K-pop, but full-length albums I think are more the expectation in the Western industry, and they definitely can pull it off. These girls are talented, hilarious, and an absolute blast, not to just watch, but to support. You want to root for them, from their rocky start on Dream Academy to the grown woman they have become, and all the hilarious moments in between. And I think that in itself is a huge plus the girls have going for them, and I can't wait to see where they go next. So yeah, those are my overall somewhat disorganized thoughts on Katseye. Comment down below your favorite Katseye meme. Mine definitely has to be Megan's Phineas and Ferb dances. Those are timeless, and I hope she continues doing it for literally every choreography they ever do. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. We're on our way to 10K. Guys, I believe in us, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!